This month on the Level 30 Games podcast, we rifle through the February Nintendo Partners Direct, hit on some games we're playing, and we start our year-long breakdown of our top 10 Zelda games of all time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Level 30 Games podcast. My name's Tom. I'm sitting down today with Drew and Joe. How are you folks doing today on this fine, brisk, warm February month?
Decent now that we got some info on the lineup for Switch 2 coming out for the rest of the year, or at least for the next foreseeable 3 months future.
Yeah, we'll take that. Normally, we'll get some bigger news in June, and that'll round out the rest of the year. Joe, how are you?
I miss Dan.
Aw. We all miss Dan. Dan, unfortunately, cannot be with us as he is taking care of some things while pursuing his second master's degree, which is just freaking incredible. So good on him. He will be joining us as much as he can throughout the year.
D3.
But we did take some of his info as it pertains to some of our Zelda conversation we're going to have a little bit later. I just want to give a quick shout out and congratulations to Drew, who has earned his 30-day game buyer's token. He has not purchased a game the entire month of January.
Then I failed.
Drew, I was going to say, how does it feel? But you failed. So
wait, how many days did I make it in February? 10?
I don't know. You just texted me at the end of January and said, I made it. And I knew exactly what you were talking about. What was the game that broke you?
It was a long time coming. It was Mugenics, which is made by the creator Binding of Isaac, which I have invested 1,000 hours. Oh, wait, you got the music for Mugenics?
Oh, nope, sorry.
Oh,
that was
okay.
that was the theme song still playing in the background.
Excellent.
But I've heard good things about their soundtrack.
Yeah, Mugenics is a turn-based tactical game like Final Fantasy Tactics, but you breed cats and they do some naughty things in their beds at night, or they don't, and then you send them out to battle. It is bizarre and...
Okay, so how would you categorize this game? Because all I know is basically at this point there's just cats banging or not banging, and that seems to be the gist of the game?
Yeah, so you send them to battle and you're trying to beat no boss in particular. You're just trying to get as far as you can. And if they make it back safely, it's...
Is this like an RTS kind of thing where you just like click and say go fight? Or do you control them? Like how's it work?
No, you have a grid just like Tactics, Persona Tactics, whatever game. And you move them and then attack and or heal, so each cat has a different class that you can assign as soon as you leave your home. You can only take 4 cats. They all have different stats, different abilities, and as you go through the campaign, right, it's kind of like Slay the Spire or any of those other games where you have a path that you can choose, and in between battles there are little interactions with like random trash cans, and you like lick the trash can and maybe get some type of disease that cripples one of your stats, or you become a super cat and just kind of pwn rats and other animals. At one point,
this sounds like a fever dream.
Oh yeah,
like
I texted you. Remember? It is so weird, but I love it. It just the nuances and the stupidity that comes out of it. That guy's brain is just great when it comes to video games.
Yeah, I found the message you sent me. It without zero context, which is exactly how it came to me. Drew says the following: I had a pestilence move that dealt 1 damage to everything on the board, but also a seed that grew tall grass on attack. So everything was tall grass, and everything hiding in grass is 50% chance to miss. And then he goes on to say, I found a broken copier, turned it on, and then I had the choice of copy, print, or scan. I chose copy. All 4 of my cats became the same cat. It sucked. 4 micro clerics can heal each other for 1 HP and a ranger attack that did 4. I won, but bruh.
But bruh.
I was like, Drew, what the fuck none of that makes any sense to anybody.
Oh, you've played Fire Emblem Tactics, right? You get into the grass or the forest, and then the enemy has like 50% chance to hit you. Like that.
Yeah, no, I understand that now.
See?
I just mean like as I was falling asleep watching TV on a weekday.
Yeah, it
that's
didn't
what I
help
read.
that it
and
was
I'm
like 9 o'clock at night.
I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, I'm like, did something happen to your cat? Why did your cat go into your printer? I'm very confused right now. Okay, so this is basically a kind of absurdist take on a tactical turn-based game.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Not knowing that was not helpful, but now that I know that, it kind of makes sense. Joe, you're playing a more traditional tactical turn-based game. What have you been enjoying lately?
Yeah, coincidentally, I just the other day finished up Final Fantasy Tactics, and there is.
So you've hit your quota of one completed game per year.
Yes.
Done early.
Yeah, that's it. I know I don't have to touch another game for the next 10 months.
So long, you rubes. I'm out.
What a great year it'll be. No, there is a hole inside of me now because I finished this game.
Oh no.
It's I think I texted you guys, right, when I finished it about like what happens at the end of the game.
Yeah.
For a little, not going to spoil anything, but for a little backstory.
No, don't spoil it. It's in my backlog. It's still
Yeah,
nice.
I won't spoil it as a personal.
It's a 20-year-old
backstory.
game.
I know. And
It is a 29-year-old game.
There you go. 30. Almost 30.
Yeah, it came
Wait
out.
a minute. Really?
Spoilers
came out
are not a thing anymore.
1997. It came out.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the PS1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Was a PS kid.
I played it around that time. I don't know exactly when I got it, but I played it around that time. And just like I was a kid, so I couldn't understand the story. The translation was bad. It's also basically, the way I explain it to people is it's basically chess, but with magic. And I wasn't good at chess, so you add magic into it, and I'm not going to be any better at it. So there was always like one specific battle very early on in the game that I could never get past. So I never really got far in the game despite loving it. But now that Chronicles came out, there's a better translation and an easy mode. So I played it on easy mode, and I beat it, and it's been like practically a personality trait of mine that I have not finished this game that I love. And now I have like naturally and genuinely finished it. No like walkthrough, no cheat codes or anything. And I feel empty now because something about me just changed because I don't have this unfinished game anymore. But it's an exceptional game. It was a lot of fun. And the story is just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking at the end. There are some things that did not need to happen, and I kind of wish I didn't read the epilogue.
I have two.
Does it? I was going to say, well, Drew and I just did a couple memory card episodes on Fire Emblem. How does it compare to like the tactics aspect in that game? Is it similar or like wildly different?
I think it's pretty similar. To me, it comes off as a little bit slower paced. I think the whole the time field in the game just feels slower. But it's you can, I mean, at least with Chronicles, you can speed up the game and kind of like fast forward through things, which helps a little bit because it can be a bit of a slog. But like there's a lot of story to follow. So and there's a lot of things that like you don't need to do, and there's some like for lack of a better word, like undocumented stuff. Like there are times where you won't have an objective marker in an area, but you go there and there's actually like another like side story element there.
Okay. And Drew, what were you going to chime in to say?
I'm saying if Joe is feeling empty after beating Final Fantasy Tactics, he needs to go and do Tactics Advance and Tactics Advance 2, because I beat all three of them, and I forget how much time I spent on Final Fantasy Tactics, but I spent infinitely more on both the advanced versions, which are just as good. And the story is good.
Are they sequels? Or are they just? I thought it was like
Separate.
The
same game.
Advanced and Advanced 2 are sequels to each other, but I don't. It's like adjacent. I forget where it falls in like the Final Fantasy worlds. Right, every game is in a different universe. I think it's slightly different than Tactics for PS1.
I played
both
Tactics
of those
Advance.
games you would enjoy.
I played Tactics Advance. I didn't finish it, but I did play it. But I never played Tactics Advance 2. I had mixed feelings on Tactics Advance though, and I don't remember why. It doesn't quite have the same feel as the original Tactics.
Yeah, it's a
I
little
feel like it was a little,
chibi, right?
yeah, it's a little bit more playful, as opposed to the original Tactics, which is very, very dark. Very, very, very dark story. So, one thing I do like about Advance is that there's only certain areas where your characters can die permanently.
That was going to be my next question. Is permadeath a thing here?
Yeah, in the original Tactics, it can happen anywhere, to any character. Even at some point, some story characters join your party, and once they are a party member that you control, you can lose them permanently. Gotcha. If they get knocked out and they stay out for either 2 or 3 turns, depending, then you will lose them permanently. In Advance, that only happens in certain areas, but for the majority of the game, in the majority of areas, they just stay knocked out until you revive them or the battle ends.
They still die in easy mode?
Yeah. Yep, you can still lose them in easy mode.
It's story related, not... Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, we talked about permadeath and Drew and I being casuals in our Memory Card episode. Go check that out. It's pretty good. If you also want another recommendation, Joe, something to fill that void that is very similar, it has the worst title in the world, but check out a game called Triangle Strategy. It is like an HD 2D isometric tactics game, but it kind of has that same idea of how elevation can play a factor into the combat and the tactics aspect. There's also a pretty heavy story there. If you want something, the pace is a little bit slower, but it was a surprisingly really good entry. That's on the Switch. I think that came out a couple years ago, but it's worth looking into to see if you might enjoy.
Yeah.
Just has a terrible name. So cool. I've been playing actually kind of similar to what I just mentioned. I finally sunk about 30 hours into Octopath Traveler 0, and that game is pretty darn good. I'm starting to get to that point of friction where all of a sudden the missions are now starting to become a little bit more outclassed than I am in regards to the skill level, because Octopath has always been good about, here's a bunch of story threads you can chase, and here's the recommended skill level, and you're slightly below that, and it might be a little bit tougher, and you've done 3 or 4, paths, and now you go back to this one, and it's a little bit easier, but I'm finding every option I have is kicking my butt, so it's a little discouraging at this point in time, but the pace of that game is really good, and the combat is just fantastic in that series, so hoping to chip away at that. That is a game that I think is like 100 hours long that I know I will just kind of keep dipping back into in between lulls. I've also been playing this, a little bit of show and tell, and it tethers a little bit to a conversation we'll have over the course of the year. But I picked this up.
I've seen those.
What's that?
I've seen those online. They're just trying to sell it to me.
So for those not watching the YouTube version, I picked up an Analog 3D, which is essentially a Nintendo 64 made by the company Analog, and they use FPGA to kind of mirror the analog circuitry in their chipset. So this is as like one-to-one as you can get to having an N64 playback, a little bit more authentic, well, a lot more authentically than emulation. And so I've been revisiting a bunch of games, been playing Zelda, and I'm sure that will come up in a couple conversations over the course of the year. But that's been really cool to sit down and just play something, not just old school in the games, but also in your mindset. I find that it's like you have to have some pretty serious intent to say, I'm going to sit down and play Ocarina of Time, because I can't just put the Switch to sleep and stop in the middle of something. And if I save in the middle of a dungeon, I might start back at the beginning of the dungeon. Or if I'm across the map and I save and quit, I'm going to start off back in my little hut, and then I have to run all the way across the field, and there's no way. Like, I'm noticing some cracks in that game, and we'll talk about Zelda a little bit later. But it's been fun to kind of revisit some N64 games and just, dig into some of the things that Nintendo did in its original form. I was playing Mario Tennis the other night and going like, wow, this was like the very first one. And the new one just came out, and it's kind of okay.
Is the controller the same as N64?
You can use the Nintendo Switch Online wireless N64 controller if you want to. You can plug the original N64 controllers into this. I did pick up the N64 wireless controller from 8BitDo, which has a single joystick, but it kind of reorients your A and B buttons, so it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. I don't have it to show here, but it's pretty cool, and they even make a variant that uses the original N64 controller color palette, so the buttons are colored and the controller's gray. It actually looks really pretty. So it's been kind of nice to have a controller that is actually made for the system to kind of work well and still have some modern conveniences like it being wireless and having rumble and stuff. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's been a fun adventure digging up some games and trying to find cheap ones online.
Yeah.
If you want
Picked up some Japanese games.
If you want a fun rabbit hole, like look into why analog consoles, like as a brand, the analog consoles are legal, and like why they make a big deal about not being called emulation. If you're interested in the tech side of it, it's really, really interesting how the stuff works. It's not even that it's interesting; it's impressive. It's cool and it's impressive.
Yeah, I scratched the surface with it just in kind of researching on whether or not it was something I wanted to spend some money on, but I would imagine it's pretty cool. And Drew was just chatting about how Nintendo's throwing out lawsuits left and right for stuff, so kind of interesting that we don't see that for something like this, but I guess they skirt the legal part of it pretty well.
It's not even like a loophole. You know, like I'm sure Nintendo's got good enough lawyers to at least make their lives hell. But what Analog is doing, from what I've gathered at least, is technically legal because they're not emulating a console.
Right.
It's the FPGAs that really make it a legal thing for them to do, and the fact that they're not selling any games with it or telling you how to get them or anything like that. They're just like, here's a console. It does what it does, you know? You figure out the rest on your own.
Right. I even had to download because it takes the original cartridges and it will log the original cartridge and the data, but it does not provide any artwork for the log. And so like I had to go to GitHub and find someone had made something for it, so that way like the cartridge artwork shows up, because they couldn't even do that legally. But it is kind of cool that it's there. So we'll see how this gets tinkered with. It's just kind of nice to have like an N64 I can play on a 4K TV without a lot of weird converters and stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of nice. I figured it's a ton of money, but it's also like the last cartridge-based system. So like, I don't even know what Analog's going to do, because who wants to, I don't know if they're going to start putting stuff on discs again. Who knows? But good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for sharing what everyone's playing. Some good game recommendations there. If you want to check out some weird cat sex action like Drew suggested, you got Mugenics. And if you're into tactics, check out Final Fantasy. And I would recommend a little cool turn-based 8-bit, super 8-bit style in Octopath Traveler.
2D, 3D remake plus 4D.
All the Ds. You know what? Let's not go. Let's just move on from that.
3D and D3.
That's where there's
D3
just
is
too
not
many
here
Ds.
today.
Too many Ds on the dance floor. So we we'll jump into a little bit of the Nintendo Partner Direct, as it took place. God, it feels like years ago at this point, honestly. And Drew, you made a comment to me the other day. It's like, hey, could we also just kind of mention how the PlayStation Direct that came out was just like tremendously better than the Nintendo Direct? What were your initial thoughts on the announcements that were made? This was from February 5th, I believe.
I don't know. There was a lot going on in there from a game that you and I are looking forward to this summer, which is Adventures of Elliot. Like, again, stupid
Yes.
name. I don't know how many times I got to say
So bad.
stupid name, stupid name, stupid
Square
name.
Enix needs to just hire one guy to be like, that you're not calling it
Nameless.
that.
Triangle Strategy. Adventures of Elliot. Like, I don't know who they're paying, but the demo
No one,
came
that's
out.
the problem.
I know. The demo came out and the game is great. The combat is great. Like, I'm looking forward to the story. We have that, again, 2D, 3D, like, revamp where the characters are pixelated, just like Octopath, just like Triangle Strategy, all those games. I'm looking forward to that. The Super Bomberman collection bothers me because I would rather play the N64 ones because they really...
Yeah, I thought of Joe as soon as they had that up there.
They really screwed up Bomberman with R and R2. Like, they were not good games. I don't know if you played either, Joe.
I played a little bit of R, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that any Bomberman game that's not Bomberman 64, it's just not really that good. Like, that game just sets the bar so high.
I mean...
There was one on the GameCube I really liked. I forget which one it was. Bomberman
Generations, yeah.
I think it had good multiplayer. I can't speak to whatever else was in the game because I don't think I actually ever played it. But
the game was
R
alright.
was kind of disappointing.
The game is definitely all right. For some reason, the title screen, like the audio from it, sticks in my head. Like daily, I hear Bomberman Generations. I don't know why. It's very strange.
Yes, and that really obnoxious high pitched voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Insert audio clip here.
Yes, please do.
Bomberman Generation!
Continuing on Capcom, they are making this game called Pragmata that Joe continues to make fun of me that I played the demo. And for whatever reason, a demo to you, give me an average time that you would spend on a demo. Tom.
I think anything from 45 minutes to an hour is acceptable.
Joe.
It obviously depends on the kind of game. For a game like that, I honestly wouldn't be surprised for like a 15 to 20 minute demo.
Yeah, so that's what it was. 10 minutes, and I only extended it to like 12 and a half because I was like trying to get every box for whatever reason and like actually test out the waters in that game. But like, you give me a 10-minute demo, and as Joe stated, the game's probably not that good if they're only giving me a 10-minute demo. Like,
Yeah, they don't want you to know how bad it is.
I still kind of want it.
Yeah, I feel like it looks like a Capcom game. I don't know if that's just if the engine they're using, where like the characters are very like Resident Evil 7 and on esque. But like I'm gonna have an open mind to it. Like I think it seems like a cool concept. I downloaded the demo. I haven't played it. I guess if I need to, I don't know, microwave some lasagna, I have 10 minutes to spare. Play the game at the same time.
That's some very hot lasagna. I'm sorry. 10 minutes?
It's a family size. It takes a long time.
You gotta burn your hands.
But like I'm also, if it reviews decently, like if it falls at like an 8, I might be like, okay, cool. 7, I would question it. I also just kind of like the notion of supporting new intellectual properties because we don't get a lot of them that often, and Capcom is one of the few companies that kind of take some risks here. That was one of my big impressions, was just seeing them represented. Square as well did a pretty good job of kind of showcasing what they're bringing to the table. Whereas a lot of other companies that traditionally support Nintendo, like, I don't know what's going on with Ubisoft. They throw stuff over, but I don't know. Square and Capcom at least were showing stuff that also is coming to the other major platforms, and that was kind of cool. So I don't know. Demo length doesn't deter me. I'm kind of curious to see what this game is like once it's out in its full-fledged form.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Have either of you played the GameCube game PN03?
Yeah.
03
for a long time.
I think I played it in Game Crazy for 10 minutes, like a long time ago. I can picture the box art for you if you need that described in some detail.
No, I own the game. I know what the box art looks like, but it's it's like what, like a step above shovelware. Like it was like a $25-$30 game. Like that was the quality of it at least, and that's just exactly how this game strikes me as well. Like it looks like it too.
At PN03 is a Capcom game as well.
Exactly.
Maybe there's some DNA there. Who knows?
I mean, the characters look really great, and then the environments look very basic. Like, I feel like I'm in a Dead Space with, like... Isaac always looked good in Dead Space, but, like, the two characters, the girls...
Does Isaac know that you find him attractive?
Except for that time when you, like, drilled into his eye and you stared into his soul. Yeah. He has like an Oscar Isaac look, right? Doesn't he have the scrub? And he's a good-looking guy. But
I don't know how to respond to that. Go on.
The demo just like had that mixed match of like character design was like very articulate looking like humans, and then the space station was very like Piano 3. I mean, I bet you it's the same engine. Joe might be spot on. This game engine and Pragmata are coming from the same developer.
I
I
want
can't
to do
imagine
some
it's
research.
the same engine. It's what, the Moon engine or whatever they call it, the RE engine. I don't think so. Joe will look
It's
that
not,
up.
wait, they're using the Resident Evil engine for Pragmata?
It looks like it. I don't know.
I don't think it's as good as that, but okay.
I know they're using the RE engine on Monster Hunter Stories 3, which
You're
is a
excited
3 to 4 hour demo, Drew, if that turns you on, I guess. That game, I started it last night. I give it a lot of credit where it's due. It really is trying hard to be like a cinematic story, and like that's kind of cool to see.
Is it
So,
action-y like normal Monster Hunter? I didn't play the other stories.
No, it's turn-based, and it kind of uses a like there's a Pokemon aspect where you can catch these monsters and use them in battle, but also you yourself have weapons you can use in battle, and it uses like similar to Fire Emblem, a weapons triangle. So you have like a power attack, a speed attack, a technical attack, and they all do something different, but they counter, balance what your enemy's doing. So like there is some depth to the combat, which is kind of cool. But it kind of falls in that same camp where the character designs look great and the environments are a little muddy. Drew, did you play the Pragmata demo on Switch?
Yes.
All right. Given how short it is, like I maybe tried playing it on PS5.
I did download it on PS5, so
yeah, I'm curious if you're like, oh dang, this looks much better here. Because unfortunately, Monster Hunter Stories 3 is around 30 frames per second on Switch 2, but I think 60 on the other platforms.
Well, the characters
So-
are like cell shaded, and then the environments are normal Monster Hunter environments, right? They look more realistic.
I mean, slightly, but there's still like a painterly kind of
Oh, okay.
cartoony look to them. I think like if it was super sharp and crisp and ran fluidly, like it's a really pretty looking game. Definitely worth a shot. Joe, outside of your adoring love for Pragmata and its connection to maybe Piano 3, did anything jump out at you during this direct as something that you're like, I play 2 games a year, I can get on board with one of these?
I think Orbitals looked really cute.
Yeah.
I think I texted you guys about that too. Like the moment I started watching this, it just, I don't know, it struck me. I'm very light on anime. Like I like a few anime things here and there, but this style just hit me. I think because it looks very Cowboy Bebop. It has a lot of that kind of style to it. But yeah, it looks like a cute game. I would definitely be interested to try it. There wasn't a whole lot else for me specifically, but this one made me optimistic because it does look like a lot more higher quality games for the Switch 2 than we've seen since launch. So I'm excited just about that, like that kind of direction. Even seeing Final Fantasy VII come out, like I probably wouldn't buy that on the Switch because I'd probably buy it on PC, to be completely honest. But it's exciting to see it hit the Switch because I think it will lead to a lot of sales of both the game and the console, and again pushes in the right direction. But also, if it lives up to the way they're marketing their performance, it shows how well you can push this hardware. Because the game's beautiful. Like Switch or not, the game looks absolutely beautiful. So seeing that you can run this even reasonably well in a way that you can enjoy it from a game perspective, but also from an aesthetic perspective, the fact that you can put something reasonable like this on the Switch is really good news for the Switch and what it can do, and how seriously people take it as a more primary console.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of dabbling in and out of replaying Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch, and it's beautiful and it runs exceptionally well. I think it's a locked 30 frames per second. So if you're a frame rate snob, maybe that's not a good thing. But I can honestly tell you, I do not notice a difference. Whereas even Monster Hunter, I'm like, yeah, when my character's running, it looks really choppy. Final Fantasy Remake is really good on the Switch too, and I would only not get the Rebirth version because I just felt like that game was hyper bloated and took way too long to get to. But there are some really nice accessibility and gameplay options here. Like there's an option in Remake where if you want every hit to do 99999 damage, yep, you can do that, and you can start the game at level 50 because if you just want to go through the story and not like... So I turned some of those on and was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. It makes replaying it at least a little bit more enjoyable. So yeah, it is nice to see that across the board. The one game that stuck out to me before we get into things that we were a little disappointed on was a game called Kyoto Xanadu. And apparently, I didn't know this, it was a sequel to a game called Tokyo Xanadu, which came out in 2015. This was a series put out by Nihon Falcom, who does the Trails series. But this seems to kind of infuse an RPG with some Persona-style life sim stuff, but also it's got 2D side-scrolling, and the boss battles have 3D, like, arena combat. So, like, it looks kind of to do a little bit of everything, and I'm kind of interested to see how that all comes together, because I think that's a crazy combination, and if they have really compelling characters with really well-written dialogue, I think that could be kind of like a sleeper surprise. So, like, I have my eye on it as something that I'm optimistic about being interested in because it could be something cool. So, all right, well, you can't have the highs without the lows. Drew, was there something across the board that you were a little disappointed in, maybe something you were hoping to see, or maybe just in what we were shown?
I wanted more of Scott Pilgrim EX because I always enjoyed the other Scott Pilgrim game, and it was...
Oh, you mean the 2 seconds in the sizzle reel wasn't enough for you?
No, I needed more sizzle, less real, especially when it comes to Scott Pilgrim. Like, I really enjoy...
That series is all sizzle.
Yeah, I really enjoy the comics of that. I enjoy the anime that came out like a year or two ago on Netflix. The original game was just River City Ransom with Scott Pilgrim, and like I'm all for that. And so I'm looking forward to seeing where, if the plot continues or changes or what. Like, I know it's not much of a plot; it's a beat 'em up, but I love that universe of Ramona Flowers and Scott and Gideon and just like having fun. The old school. What was the name of that style of River City Ransom? It was like kunai. What's it?
Kunio.
So like, just brings back the nostalgia of River City Ransom as a kid.
Oh, sounds like a memory card topic. Joe, anything that you were a little disappointed in?
To stay on the topic with Scott Pilgrim, I'll say I'm a little disappointed that it kind of looks like the same style of game. Because you don't need more than one game in that kind of universe, I think. Me, as a Double Dragon fan, is going to say you don't need more than one game of that style in that universe, because it's just different backdrops, you know? Like, I don't think it changes enough to warrant the whole game. And that's a bummer, because I love Scott Pilgrim. You know, like, I love anything Scott Pilgrim. You can get me anything that has his face on it or has a tie to it, and I will be happy with it. I have both. I have the hardcover and the paperback of the comics. And if somebody bought me another one, I wouldn't be mad. Be like, I already own this twice. I'll take a third one. Like, whatever. I just love Scott Pilgrim. So it's kind of a bummer.
What if we got you like a Ramona Flowers body pillow? Would that be acceptable as a gift? Like, where do you draw the line here?
I draw the line.
He's not saying no. He's not saying
no.
Yeah, no, I'll take the body pillow. That's fine. Yeah.
Cool. I found one on eBay. It just says gently used.
Oh God.
Is it on Temu?
I don't know.
Temu would be the off-brand Gramona Glowers, like
gently used.
Temu would be a picture of the pillow screened onto an actual pillow.
Yes. Yep. There you go. That's it.
I am interested in if it's the comic version or the Mary Elizabeth Winstead one, but we can talk about that later. So I
Either way, there's a hole in the center for some reason. We don't.
It's not good either way. Yeah, definitely not good either way. But yeah, I'm disappointed that it's not a different kind of game because you could do anything with Scott Pilgrim. Like any video game style would work, and they just remade the previous one. You know, like that could be a tactical RPG. Maybe you couldn't do a first-person shooter, but you could probably do something like Mirror's Edge with it. Drew?
I was gonna say you got to play dodgeball with Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, there you go.
Tom knows how much I am a Kunio fan of dodgeball and Super Dodgeball from back in the day. But like, we could play soccer. We could do a roller skating derby.
World Cup
like
soccer was Cuneo. Yeah,
you could have.
that would actually be really good.
Yeah,
But you could do like a just a straight fighting game, you know, like a Street Fighter style game would be perfect for that. You could do an RPG.
Oh, give it to Arc Systems. They would make a killer fighting game with Scott Pilgrim.
There's so many
That'd be
options.
awesome.
So why did they give us the same game? But are we getting another Anamanaguchi soundtrack out of that? Because I'd be content with that. That alone is worth the money.
Actually, I don't know that. And who knows? Maybe there are some mechanics here that we haven't seen.
Was
that
a
haven't
sizzle
been
reel
on display yet? Yeah, right. So you're getting action scenes, but who knows? Maybe there are some deeper, like RPG mechanics or something that are involved there. I don't know. Like
That's
that's a
fair.
game to have an eye on.
Maybe
for
it's like
sure.
WarioWare. Just every like 5 minutes of the game is different. My other disappointment
okay.
is that they're still going forward with Pragmata, but you know that's we talked about that enough.
Okay, so what you're saying is Pragmata is the ARMS of 2026. This is just something that you're going to run into the ground every time we have a
Oh, I
conversation.
already have.
Got it.
But yes,
Yeah.
you know,
there we go.
I
We're
almost
doing it.
have to buy it now. Like I almost have to prove to myself and everyone else this is not going to be a good game.
I hope it wins Game of the Year.
I hope so too.
Saying.
It definitely
I don't
won't.
think it will, but
It's
I will
Capcom.
be voicing
Has
it.
Capcom ever won Game of the Year?
Has Capcom ever deserved Game of the Year? I think there's a couple
Uh,
Resident Evils that would have.
Okami was great.
Okami was
Fair.
great. I would even go as far as to say, maybe not as a.
Beautiful
some of the
Joe, I
Monster
think, was
Hunters
up
were
for
also, but that was like 20 some years ago. Different landscape.
it when Capcom was relevant.
Hey, they're trying.
They'll be
okay?
relevant again next year when they have Mega Man 12.
They'll be relevant in a week and a half when Resident Evil 9 comes
Oh,
out.
that's true. No,
Game
no
of
one
the
thinks
Year,
about that.
baby!
The one game in February that you allowed yourself to buy is now the second game in February.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's true.
So I think, in just wrapping our conversation on the partner direct, one of the things that kind of bugged me was the close of the show with the Bethesda stuff. I had a really strong sense of deja vu of the Switch 1 directs when they would like announce games that have already existed on other platforms and they maybe don't run or look as good. And I'm sorry, but Fallout 4 and Indiana Jones and Oblivion are all probably good games, but like they've been out for a very long time. Like Fallout 4 is a remake. Indiana Jones was on other platforms, so like that arguably is a good get, but I don't know, like that being the big, this is the last thing we're going to show, and then show 3 games that have been around for a while, I felt was really deflating. And not that I expected more, it's cool to have those, but like maybe they just because they don't do anything for me, so I don't know if any of those titles got you excited to play this on Switch too, but I can't fathom that a large audience is like, cool, I can't wait to play a remaster of a decent Fallout game from 2010. Like, it just doesn't seem like a good show close. You
For
know
the
what I mean?
ninth time.
So, for the right.
That's just what Bethesda does.
Yeah, that's true.
I miss the days of a final, like, 5-second trailer of something that, like, Reddit and, like, the forums could go nuts about.
Well, Nintendo does that in their directs, right? They ended
Oh.
on that Smash Brothers tease, and they ended on a Xenoblade Chronicles sequel. And they do have things that, like, I think high risk, high reward. I would say that they're big franchises, but you know how fan bases get when it's not their franchise. And so I think they always end on really smart things. And we're going to hope that, you know, when a formal direct comes in June, maybe we get some of the unknown stuff announced the later in the year. Time will tell. But until then, I'm sure we're going to have a couple. We've had a couple individual game directs, right? We've had the Tamagotchi Life direct. We had a Pocopia direct, right, or something. Like I feel like they're looking at some of their bigger tentpole games and saying, "Hey, you're getting your own thing, so that people pay attention to this," as opposed to having it get lost in the shuffle. But
I do keep seeing rumblings of another direct later this month.
I heard that, and then I heard entirely made up, totally debunked. But there's only, what, nine more days in the month, so
It'll be pragmata focused.
That's true. Pragmatic, right? And by the time this episode comes out, oh man, if this episode comes out next Monday and then there's like a direct on Tuesday, I'm gonna be really pissed. But we'll see. All right, let's move on. And I kind of want to introduce this as a recurring segment that we are doing in honor of Zelda's 40th anniversary. It's also Mario's 40th anniversary, but Nintendo's taking care of that part. We're going to talk about Zelda. So what we opted to do was, and Drew, you don't need to get into the the equations that you used to formulate this. It's all good. But Drew, our math guru, took our rankings of the mainline Zelda games. There were 19 titles that we ranked, and 19? 18. 18 titles that we ranked, and Drew ran them through his Drew calculator to output our definitive list, the level 30 games list of the top 10 Zelda games. Our goal is to announce and release and discuss a Zelda game each and every month in our podcast, and we're excited to bring you our number 10 highest ranked Zelda game today. I just want to very quickly run through what didn't make the list and see if you guys have any contention with one of those games that you feel should be higher. But bringing up the bottom of the list at 18 was Spirit Tracks, followed by Phantom Hourglass, Link 2 for the NES, Four Sword Adventures, Echoes of Wisdom, Minish Cap, A Link Between Worlds, and just missing the top 10 was the Oracle of Seasons and Ages games. Does anybody have a strong disagreement with any of those not making the top 10?
Yes.
IGN has a complaint with A Link Between Worlds.
Yep, and I think Joe has a complaint as well, because I saw how he ranked Oracle of Seasons and Ages, and how do you feel having it not make the cut then, Joe?
It upsets me. It may be another, like a lot of things for me, it might be just another nostalgia thing. Being one of my early Zelda games and one of the few that, like, one of the early ones that I remember. But it's, I don't know, I feel like it was a big deal when it came out. The idea of it being, having like two similar games kind of in that like Pokemon style with the red and blue, having Ages and Seasons come out, in parallel, I think was a cool idea. I like the games. I feel like they fit the top-down Zeldas really well. I think they are great games. I think them being so low is not anything against the games, but maybe a testament to how good all of the other games are. Or maybe that's just me trying to comfort myself.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. Oh, go ahead, Drew. Sorry.
With Oracle of Seasons and Ages, I love them. Like, I'm a 2D Zelda nut, but the games were like super convoluted when it came to like some of the puzzles, and then this whole system of a code that you could carry over from Oracles to Ages and change the game slightly, and then when you beat Ages, you can bring it over to Oracle. But like, that was a game that I'm pretty sure I waited for like a Nintendo Power to reveal like certain things that was going on, because the story was like so off the charts of like how to get from point A to point B. Sometimes, especially in the Ages one, I think there was a lot of like dead ends, and I think it was just like poor management of the system. But I do love them again as nostalgia, because it was built off the Link's Awakening engine.
Yes, and there was actually supposed to be a third game in that series that they had to scrap, I think, due to time or money or something. So it was supposed to be like a three-way connection.
Oh, geez.
like the Triforce, but then they tweaked it towards the end of development. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of actually very comfortable with the bottom of this list. I think if I were to replay any of these games, I think I probably would give A Link Between Worlds another shot and Minish Cap another replay. Those being portable games, they're usually a little bit shorter. It's harder to play new Zelda games over again because they're just so damn long. But I don't really have any other gripes.
It's like I think A Link Between Worlds is very good. I think I think it just wasn't super original, but the mechanic of going between two worlds and like Hyrule and Low Rule was, I think it was well done and it was cute. Again, kind of like the Oracle games, like maybe it's really just a testament to how good the other games are that it's so low on the list.
And I think that is the case, actually, because other games take that concept and do it a little bit better. So without further ado,
I'm going to cry.
Before the song crescendos and gets very loud, this is the opening title screen music to Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Came out on the Nintendo Wii November 20th, 2011. Has a 93 Metacritic score and sold over 3.67 million copies on the Wii. This does not include sales for the remake on the Switch. This clocked in at number 10 on the list. This just made it in over everything we mentioned prior. And I have to ask you guys, for you specifically, we all have different experiences with this game. Drew, I think you didn't actually play it on the Wii, correct?
Yep, I refused because Nintendo forced motion controls on me, and I didn't want to play as Zelda. I appreciated that where you aimed your sword, was more accurate, just like with Twilight Princess. But I think at the time we were, you said 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Wii's, what's the word?
Gimmick?
Yeah, gimmick had worn off on me that I was like, please just give me a controller that I can play this.
That's true. Well, if you did get the special edition, you would get this gold-plated colored Wiimote.
I'm not going to get up, but I have one too over there.
There you go. Okay.
Two?
No, I don't have two. I'm just saying I also have one.
Oh, you also?
He has it also. Yeah. Came with a game and a copy of the soundtrack. So, Drew, you were kind of against the motion controls. We can, we'll split hairs and say the core game is fundamentally the same. What makes this game special for you? And was there a moment that stands out as something you thought was really memorable?
I think what makes it special is the debate we had a little bit earlier that if there is or is not a Zelda timeline, this is the beginning of the hero's saga, right? The Master Sword has just been created or forged, and Ganon is a thought in no one's eyes. One of the biggest moments that rings in my ears is the horrifying curse demon. What was he that chased you at the beginning of the game and really set the tone of oh shit, stuff got real. You're gonna die if you touch this guy.
He looked like a sock snake to me.
Yeah, just him, whatever was brewing as the final boss, right? Set the tone. You're escaping him, and then talking to Zelda and someone else, and then the rest of the story plays out from there. It really engaged you at the beginning of oh, the end of the world's about to happen. I need to prevent it. And how do I do that? By getting this bird that is now super iconic. What's his name?
It's a Loftwing. I don't know.
Yeah, Loftwing. I think that
he's had a specific name.
The Loftwing is very iconic, and enjoy diving down into the world, which we got to see again years later with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But all the leveling was really thought out.
Yeah, the dungeons were really good in this game.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played Skyward Sword. I bought it at launch, and
yeah, I remember the day I drove home with it. I mean, Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I remember. No, you're fine. I remember working at Radio Shack and walking next door to the GameStop that I also worked at the time, picking up the game and then walking back over to Radio Shack and just kind of like staring at it for the remainder of my shift until I went home. I think it's kind of the vibe that got set for a lot of like future mainline 3D Zelda games, where like things are a little bit brighter in that game. If that makes sense, like aesthetically, it's just a brighter, more open game as opposed to previous ones that just felt a little bit darker. Twilight Princess is right off the bat like a pretty dark game aesthetically, and so is Majora's Mask, right? But there's a lot of open area, there's a lot of sky and clouds. Obviously, I would hope so, but it really does feel like the start of the current generation of Zelda games. And I also find it interestingly like culty, maybe, because I didn't feel like it was a big deal of a game when it first came out. Or at least like I didn't feel like it lingered for that long. Like it was a big deal that we were getting this motion controlled Zelda game, and then I felt like it petered out very quickly. But then when they remastered it and relaunched it, it felt like there was a lot of fanfare around it that I didn't really expect.
I think the Switch
true?
version sold more than the Wii version.
Doesn't surprise me,
but
yeah.
it does raise the question of 5 years after the launch of the Wii, who is still playing hardcore games on the Wii? Well, the 3.67 million people that bought it. I kind of agree with that. It does do a lot in setting up things that we would see in the next mainline Zelda game after this, which was Breath of the Wild, right? Like you had Link had stamina in this game. Right, which was a key part of Breath of the Wild. It flirted with open exploration a little bit. I don't think it did too much with it in an interesting way. The thing with this game for me is that I really loved the story elements to it. I think it was really great to see like Zelda and Link, what we knew was the earliest part of the timeline, get to know each other and have the connection to what is essentially the birth of Hyrule and everything that we know that comes after. But it was also like kind of charming to see Zelda as like, I don't know, a popular kid in this like small cloud school academy thing, and Link kind of be this like almost loafy, lovable loser. And like how they their relationship is very apparent without it being direct. Like it's clear there's a really special connection between them, but they never outright say like they're boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Like the whole setting on Skyloft is a school. So like the ages are intentionally nondescript, but like it felt like they were legitimately a couple, right? And so in every Zelda game up to this point, we've seen Link have to go and save the day to rescue Zelda. But this is the first time that we really kind of, in a meaningful way, saw Zelda along the way for that, right? Like there were always moments where she popped up, or there'd be some interaction, or hey, I have to go do this thing with Impa and you have to go do this thing, so that like it was kind of really cool to see how intertwined their stories were, and it felt really personal in that regard. I do think it's balanced or weighed down by the fact that it really felt like this was the end of the Zelda formula, and having, here, go do these 3 things, and then the world changes, and then you have to do 7 more things, and then you culminate with the final boss. So like in that regard, it is a very early blueprint for what came after, but it was also like, all right, the well is pretty dry on this setup that we've gotten many times over. And so this was the game that I remember a lot of people talking about, saying like, it's really good, but Zelda needs to do something different after this because it's kind of starting to wear out its welcome. I think the game is really good. I think if you get a chance to replay it on the Switch, you should. I'm kind of tempted to go play it just talking about it now. And damn, is that music just fantastic. First Zelda game with an orchestral score. Yeah.
I want to add 2.
That was in-game orchestral, yeah.
I want to add two. As much as it might seem annoying, having some voices come out of the Wiimote, pretty cool. Just the experience of it, without affecting the gameplay if you don't actually have that, or just maybe have the ability to turn it off or something. Like, I think it's kind of a cool effect to have.
Yeah, totally. But on that note, though, Drew, who is more annoying, Fee or Navi?
Oh, Navi, 100%. Like, I love, like, we all ranked Ocarina of Time pretty high, like, but...
No spoilers.
Oh. But, like, all I can picture right now is, like, anyone who's watched the Super Bowl, like, the halftime show, and Bad Bunny going, A, and then the Zelda splices that he's Navi, just annoying you. It's just like, it just brings back like trauma, like literal trauma.
Well, I encourage you then to go play Skyward Sword again, because I think Fee is way more obnoxious.
No, definitely not.
Well, remember, I just consider that Ocarina of Time was also a product of its time, so they can only be so annoying. Fee's like, hey, I'm going to tell you something that you figured out 30 seconds ago, and it's going to take me 90 seconds to do it, as opposed to Navi's just like, maybe you should see what Saria is up to. End communication,
but
right? Like,
Fee was more like, yeah, do this, do that, right? Like, in this direction, like a push. Navi was like, you didn't see that speck on the wall, and it's like, hey, look, listen. Like, you're just like, what am I listening for? Like, there's nothing to listen for. Oh, there's a Skulltula? Like, no, way more annoying. And don't even forget about that owl that we got to talk about later on.
oh my God, yes.
Do you want the instructions over again? At least Fee
Yes.
was not like
9
that.
more times.
Yeah.
Right? At
Trying to
least the
rush
owl-
through it.
Yeah, and it defaulted to yes. So if you rushed too fast, you had to hear it again. Oh, God. And that owl, there is no narrative purpose that owl exists, I don't think, other than...
In the remaster,
you
they
might
take
not
him
know
out.
what to do, so here's some information. Interesting. Well, I think we can all agree the greatest side character was Midna from Twilight Princess. If you're going to have a companion, I think she's the best. Just my 2 cents.
Maybe we should have done this. Maybe we should have ranked
Based off of
all of
companions.
Link's companions instead of the Zelda games.
Tingle is 18th.
I actually...
Tingle does not even get to. No, I can't stand
He
Tingle.
has
I'm
his own
putting
game.
the data.
I think he's got
I'm putting
2
Tingle-
own games.
He does. So that's just some quick thoughts and stories on Skyward Sword. We will divulge our next game at the end of our episode in March. But right now, are you guys up for a little quick round of trivia?
Always.
Let's go.
This month's trivia is brought to you by me. We have 5 questions geared up for you gentlemen here. You'll have to work a little extra harder as you don't have Dan to chime in the background. So use your best judgment as to what he would say. Here we go.
Round 1.
Question 1. Both Mario and Zelda are celebrating their 40th anniversaries this year. If you were to give the franchise's respective princess a gift to celebrate, what would you give them?
There's an
Would that be-
actual right answer to this?
There sure is. Would that be A, a ruby-encrusted tiara, B, a crystal scepter, C, pearl earrings, or D, a diamond ring?
Is this one gift that goes to both of them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So something that they both have in common. I feel like neither has a scepter.
Yeah, I don't remember either of them having what kind of scepter, Tom?
A crystal scepter.
What was the first?
A ruby-encrusted tiara.
And the third?
Pearl earrings.
And the fourth?
A diamond ring. You could have just asked me to repeat it.
That need to do it in a wrong order. I'm trying to think, what did Mario give Peach in Mario RPG? It was a brooch, right?
It's got to be the earrings, right? I'm picturing them both with pearl earrings. Pearl earrings, right?
Sure.
We're going with pearl earrings. Final answer?
Drew, you said yes?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Pearl earrings
Ah!
is incorrect.
Sorry.
The traditional gift to celebrate a 40th anniversary
Oh, a 40th. I didn't even get
is ruby. So ruby encrusted tiara would be the correct answer. A crystal gift is for the 15th anniversary, pearl for the 30th, and in 20 years, diamonds for the 60th anniversary.
This is if you're married and they're not married. Neither of those groups are
understand.
married.
I understand that.
I also don't celebrate an anniversary, so I would have never known this.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was a sneaky, clever way.
It was a cute question. I'll give you
ask
that.
a
It was
question.
definitely a cute question. I liked it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the cuteness.
Yeah, I'm just mad about it. That's all.
I mean, it is Nintendo. It's got to be cute.
Question 2. Also logging an anniversary of 40 years, Dragon Quest is the longest-running JRPG series to date, putting out mainline entries in the series since 1986.
There you go.
Which of the following franchises will be the next to hit 40 years as long as they don't go away? Would that be Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem, the Tales series, or Ys?
I feel like it's got to be Final Fantasy. What year was Dragon Quest?
1986.
Yeah, so like Final Fantasy 1 came out very soon after that. What were the other? Yes, I don't think it's Yes. What were the other two?
Fire Emblem and Tales.
I don't know. I'm not cut out for trivia. You know that.
I'm going Final Fantasy.
I thought the
Joe, are you okay with Final Fantasy?
I could swear the Final Fantasy for NES came out before. No, that would have been 1980. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go with Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Oppa!
Is technically correct. However,
I hate that he mutes
hate
himself.
you.
He mutes his camera and he says technically correct. Like that is the
technically
most
correct.
kind of correct Futurama.
yes, I'm aware of this.
best kind
However,
of
I
correct.
also would have
Best
accepted
kind.
the Ys series. Both series have been out since 1987, making them 1 year shy of Dragon Quest. Fire Emblem came out in 1990. Tales was 1995.
So which one came out actually first in '87?
I don't have that information available. I only have the most recent mainline release date for each, which is not super helpful.
Okay.
So, plus release dates from back then are really sketchy
I
and
know.
accurate.
I know.
Yeah, so didn't want to rely on that. All right, here we go.
Round 3.
Question 3. Halo 3 was ranked recently on IGN's Top 100 Xbox Games of All Time, a ranking that I agree with. I love that game. Most notable for its online and split-screen multiplayer, Bungie saw fit to reuse one of its most popular maps across all 3 games, but they named it something different each time. Referred to as Valhalla in Halo 3, OG Halo players will always know it as what? Is it A, Battle Canyon, B, Blood Gulch, C, Coagulation, D, Exile?
I played a lot of Halo 3, but not a lot of original Halo.
I'm pretty sure I know this one.
Damn, what a great game. What do you think it is?
I think it's Blood Gulch.
That's
I
what I
feel
was
like that
thinking
one
too. That was the first one that
sticks
stood
out the
out.
most. Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna go Blood Gulch. Yeah.
Is correct. Yeah, as I was writing that question, I was like, I have to describe a multiplayer map without actually describing the physicality layout of that map. So I was like, should I answer that question? Yes, I should. You got it right. It is Blood Gulch. So many sleepovers lost to playing Blood Gulch. Oh my god.
Are we
I miss
only
it so
technically
much.
I
correct?
can't
with that
wait
one?
for Halo to come back this year.
I know, but it's single player only.
Wait, what? Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yep. And on that note, let's go to
Cancel your pre-orders. Question 4. Round 4.
question 4. Tends to be an audio question.
The best kind of question.
And this question 4 is no different, but there is a small twist
Of course there
to
is.
this.
Why would there not be?
Of course there
It's
is.
Tom.
Why would there not be? It's me. Well, Drew can do trivia next time, and he can make it straightforward and simple.
All audio. All the time.
I figured, and maybe we'll see, this could be a running theme. The audio questions from me this year might all be related to the Zelda game that we have ranked for that month. That being said, and let me cue up some samples here.
Skyward Sword, final answer.
Very good, Joe.
Fee. Final answer.
Okay. Zelda's signature song in Skyward Sword is called The Ballad of the Goddess and is significant in representing Zelda's awakening as the reincarnation of the god Hylia as she goes on to establish the land of Hyrule. The Ballad of the Goddess has a musical reference to which other classic Zelda melody? I will play a section of The Ballad of the Goddess, and then I will give you your multiple choice answers. This will be worth 2 points regardless because it is a little bit more challenging. Here is your small audio sample.
I feel like I know exactly
Is that
where this is
reference the Prelude of Light, the Song of Storms, the Song of Time, or Zelda's Lullaby?
going. That's not where I thought this question was going.
I feel like I can
L.
sing it, but I don't know it by name at least.
I feel like Drew's going to curse my name when I reveal this, however.
I think he often does that anyway. So.
I'm gonna just go with the Super Smash Brothers intro music, like, because that was orchestral too, right?
Yes, but that's not one of the 4 choices I have here.
Should be. Should be. Joe, this is all you. Shot in the dark. You took
Oh
the
my
first
God.
one.
All right. Prelude of Light.
That's what I was
There you
gonna
go. Okay. Prelude of Light. Final answer.
say. Wrong.
The correct answer
Zelda's Lullaby.
is Zelda's Lullaby.
I hate myself.
Now, you will recognize Zelda's Lullaby when you take that same audio sample I played from the Ballad of the Goddess and put it in reverse.
Bye, Joe. Miss you already.
Sorry, I know that was extra
Fifth
challenging
round.
for you.
This is the push.
This is the push.
Round 5.
Oh my God, there's more.
And it was a last-minute question, too, inspired by Drew. The Winter Olympics are in full force, or maybe by the time that you are listening to this, just concluding. Mario and Sonic were part of the games once, back on the Wii and the DS. However, there was a pretty popular sport that was featured on the DS version of the game, but not on the Wii version of the game. Is it A, curling, B, luge, C, ski jumping, or D, ski shooting?
Drew, I'm going to be honest, I've never played any of these games.
I have not either.
Oh, no!
Okay, so the difficulty ranking for this month is incredible.
I grew up not liking Sonic, so like once there was a collaboration between the two, I could care less.
I grew up not liking sports.
Well, the general theme of this seems to be shot in the dark, so... Do you want to take a shot in the dark?
Yeah, we have to. We have multiple choice.
Okay, wait. So
There was no curling. I don't know. Nagano 98 had curling on the N64.
Sure did. I was just watching a video of it, and it looks awful.
It looks awful. Name them again real quick.
Wait, which
Curling.
Which console?
Luge, ski jumping, ski shooting.
Which console wasn't the sport on?
The Wii.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the Wii.
Wii
It was not on the Wii, but it was on the DS version.
I thought Wii was Summer Olympics. No? It was winter?
They did both.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So which of these games would be easier on DS than on Wii?
Interesting logic. Can't fault it. But I'm going to need a guess now.
Oh my god. If it's curling because you did with the... Oh my god. Please don't be... Oh.
No, curling seems too easy on Wii. But hockey...
Oh, I think it'd be easier on DS with the
With the
touchpad.
Wiimote, though, you could just like jerk the Wiimote back and forth like you're brushing the... You can't see me, but I'm doing it in my shot.
Thanks,
so.
thanks.
So glad I
jerking
can't
it.
see
You know
you
what?
doing
Just-
that. Oh God! What was option B?
Luge?
Luge is mine. I'm going with luge.
No, go with curling. I think it'd be easier on the DS than the Wii.
All right, fine. Curling.
Curling is your final answer?
Is it on both? Well, that should be on both.
If it's
anyway.
luge, I reserve the right to storm off angrily.
That's fine. If it's luge, then I'm the one doing trivia next time.
Curling is...
I'm doing trivia.
The correct answer is luge.
I'm doing trivia.
Oh God!
That'll do it for this episode of the Level 30 Games podcast. Let's cue the music here, huh? Thank
right
you
one.
guys for watching and listening. Thank you, Drew and Joe, for making time on this weekday to record this wild episode. I hope you enjoyed our Zelda segment. Please check back next month as we're going to give you number 9 on our list. Kind of contentious. And we're looking forward to talking more video games with you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all.
Bye.